Hey everybody, Texas Stroker here, Lance's Performance Shop, along with Mopars.com. Another crazy day in February, 80 degrees, probably a record high, and also like a 60-mile-an-hour wind on the flip side of that. So we're definitely going to make up for that. I'm going to throw some stuff down here. We're just going to jump right into it. This should get your attention. These are things you've seen before, right? But you're going to get a feel for where we're headed with this one. And where we're going to head right now is one of the most expensive screwdrivers we've brought in. And there's a couple in this same price tier, some slightly below, some slightly above. But let me dig it out, actually. Alright, thought I had this sitting to the side, and I did not. This is an item that I asked Mike over at DRPD. I said, hey, any chance y'all could stock these individually? And he said, yeah, no problem. And lo and behold, I go on DRPD, and boom, there it is. Picked it up with the President's sale. President's Day sale, I should say. But essentially, you would be looking at basically $30.55 to pick this up. Keep in mind, 15% is what we got off of that. But it is their part number ND1P2-2. And yep, it's exactly what you're probably thinking it is. If we come in, we had this ahead of time. The stubbies you could get, and you could not get the full size outside of the set. Interested in the set? Yes, the set also very expensive. So the number 2 Phillips here is where we wanted to start. Again, Nepros KTC. This is kind of their like showmanship, ultra craftsmanship line. Exquisite quality above and beyond anything you could expect or imagine. And it's going to look much better out of the bag. Once again, not much we can read into that, being native English speakers that don't do Japanese. But it's going to be something that I hope will turn out to be worth the price point. I'm trying to keep my phone lit up over here off to the side. But, oh man. In hand, first impressions, I see exactly what they were talking about. You cannot pick up on that, at least I can't. I definitely can't with this stubby. There is a huge difference. If you are a screwdriver connoisseur and you have not pulled the trigger on these, some of you may have already done it, but if you have not, I recommend you bring this in, and I can assure you this, as someone with a lot of screwdrivers, this will be completely unique. And you're thinking like, oh, nope, cannot be unique. Well, what's the difference? Hex bolster, magnetic tip, mirror polished. I've seen it. We have it here. You probably have the exquisite wood handle. What could I be so excited about from just handling that? And I'm going to do it again for my own enjoyment. It's the grip. This is like nothing I have ever held before. Wow, this is one of those things. I wish you were here, because that would make way more sense than hearing a grown man babble on about it. But you're not, so we have to settle for a video. And that means I'm going to rely on the description of the product to attempt to convey what I'm able to feel here. So, the resin grip screwdriver features a unique Squoval. Yes, Squoval. Let's think of a square and think of an oval. Again, there's a mirror polished striking cap, which heaven knows that would be difficult to use. But check that out. You can kind of see like a square landing pad, but it's not 90-degree corner here. You've got your other flat landing pad, but when I go across, I'm not 90-degreeing it. It's an oval crossed with a square, or a squoval. I don't believe I've ever heard that term before. Yeah, I had a terrible geometry teacher. She was more interested in trying to be cool. Keyword trying to be cool than teaching. But yeah, Squoval. Maybe I missed it. I don't know. She would play Friday and next Friday, and no one learned anything. So Squoval handle shape. But get this. This is what I was implying will be something you haven't experienced. And we're reading it verbatim here. A luxurious leather-like texture that is extremely comfortable to use. This truly, like, I read that and I thought, yeah, whatever, you know, and I was especially basing it on this one. I was like, I don't remember that being like leather, not even remotely thinking that. I cannot explain it, but when I run my hand across it, like if you get a new truck, load it out, you know, this is kind of the feel. I don't want to imply that it's like excessively soft, because it's not, but there is that leather-esque feel to it. That was a very strange description to read, but after feeling it in hand, I see exactly what they're attempting to say. It is, again, like nothing I have ever felt on the handle in all this time that we've done this. It is, like I said, it's spendy. I would advise you wait for a sale, but pick that up. Don't do the stubby. The stubby, to me, the stubby is more of like, not a terribly hard plastic, but it's not as over the top as this. Okay, so if you're interested in it, yeah, you can get the stubby. I'd recommend whatever you need, even if it's slotted. Okay, pick one of these up, and then you very well might be going for the full set. But it's definitely something you need to experience. If you're ever at a trade show, if somehow you have like a business connection, you're in Japan, you need to get your hands on these. You don't have to buy them if you can just feel them. It's extremely unique. That's about all I can tell you. It's obviously, this is number 2 Phillips. It's got a tang through design with the hex bolster, which is a nice selling point. The textured handle with a comfortable Squoval shape. Again, there it is. Magnetic precision fit tips, and much like Vera, it's got the take it easy tool finder type of a deal. In Veraland, red is Phillips. Hazette had pretty much verbatim to Vera with their new smart holder stuff. So Phillips and red kind of seems to be across the board. But where Vera has like a yellow for slotted, they're going to do green. The green looks really good on these drivers. Sadly, we don't have one here. Kind of wish I did now. A lot of times I will bring in a Phillips and a slotted and kind of have like a paired set. These are spendy. I did not know it would be that good. I also totally didn't read this description before purchasing. I was just like, yep, there it is, and brought her in. Really, really nice. The thing you could say that would be negative on this would just be the weight. This is going to clock in the number 2 Phillips at 160. It's pretty much our standard default spec, 4-inch 100mm shaft. The striking cap, I don't believe, in all my time of looking at Nepros website, which is several years now, I have never seen a non-striking cap iteration of that driver. So it's sort of just, you have one option and it's fully loaded. And, you want to dumb it down, you don't want the striking cap, you don't want the hex bolster, too bad. You only get the most luxurious and over-the-top thing they could imagine. So that driver is just so good. Dadgum. The stubby, if you're curious, is roughly $21.10. You can actually buy just a Phillips set if you're someone who's like, oh, hey, this guy, he doesn't really like get excited about this stuff too often anymore. It must be really neat. If you wanted to get a Phillips set, you'd be looking at $96.15. It is a 4-piece set, 1, 2, 3, and the stubby. Really not terrible when you consider how over the top it is, but then you've got stuff like Koken and KTC drivers, if Japanese tools are your thing, that are like fractions of the price and really good too. So keep that in mind. But the wood handle, if you're curious, what is the price point here? I think we would have gotten it cheaper than this because it's several years old, but it's the exact same thing. It's $30.55. Wow. So again, they are spendy, but my goodness, if I ever had to advise you, if you need to experience something, if life has become dull and bland, go that route right there. Again, the stubby, it was fine. There's, it's obviously like over the top. It's got the big size identification, which is super cool. If they did offer a lower tier without the striking cap and the hex bolster, you would probably have this same design here where you have the massive size indicator. Does not give you the 2 or the 1 or anything like that, but it's a very nice, very comfortable stubby. This one though, good lord, in hand, That is something else, I tell you. Let's take a look at it in detail here. You've conveniently got your part number. Again, ND1 P2-2. You've got, I don't know what that's supposed to be. It's like a, I guess, 3G. Must be some sort of rating they give the chrome. The tip, there's nothing crazy on it. It is oiled a bit. If we get back here in the gist of things, you can see the Nepros branding, KTC Japan. And again, if you look at that, hopefully it conveys like, yeah, you know what? I don't know what that feels like, but that looks like leather seats, right? Maybe it's in your truck, maybe your car, maybe it's upholstery in your home. Maybe it's like just a portfolio, padfolio thing you have to lug around for work when you go into sales meetings or something. It's every bit does justice to that crazy description as you can imagine. Something I love, you have 1, 2, 3 color band indicators for Phillips. Anywhere this thing's laying down, you're going to know red, Nepros, it's Phillips. Right here it chokes down. It's kind of, again, it's Squoval. So think of that as kind of like I guess it'd be sort of like if we're taking a trilobe design, think sort of it, and we're kind of crossing it with like a VHA. I guess it's where you'd sort of have a triangle meld itself into like a bulbous shape, and maybe you'd come out with something like this. What's cool is back here in the back end, we just did the Vera ball grips, and it's not a ball grip obviously, but this is bigger, and then it tapers, and then this kind of comes back to that same profile before it also tapers almost like a writing instrument, you know. Right up here you have a very hard plastic, just like we had with the ball grip, that actually gave us really good control and spin. Look at that. You're looking all the way back across the shop. Like right here, you're looking at my glove high. If I tilt that back, you're looking at all my artwork, some tarped cars. There's the camera. Yep, that's what I'm stuck behind when I do this stuff. But dadgum, this was... I have a hard time advising the $30 screwdrivers because you can get such great options for literally $10 or less that I don't think you would see a noted difference in. You got to try this. You got to pick it up. Even if it's just you and a buddy, you know, and a couple of friends circle locally or something, one of you needs to grab this thing and just kind of pass it around. It is glorious in hand. I'm not going to lie. This is something, again, could you use this? Absolutely. Would it be a brute? I'm sure it would. Will I use this? We're definitely going to test it. I actually would love to use this. I will tell you, just like I said with the wood handle, there is no way I could bring myself. I mean, that's mirror polished. You know, typically with a striking cap, my really beat up ones obviously are at work, but like this Vera here, sort of flash rusted and dented up. It's nothing attractive. You don't feel bad about hitting that. The back end of a Philo, yeah. The VHAs are the closest really to that, but they don't polish them to that level. I mean, that's literally mirror finish. It's insanity. Oh man, you could definitely use them. I don't know if anyone would have the heart. If it's your driver, now if this is a coworker, you grab someone else's, you're at their place wrenching. Yeah, you know, your former best friend might use it as a striking cap, but if this is something you purchase, totally see using them. I don't see anyone having the heart to use it as a striking cap. Get a beater, get something cheaper, go to town that way. Yeah, this is just too nice of a driver. Right here you can kind of see they maintained a very similar profile. Obviously with the wood there's certain things you cannot do, so it's going to have a different texture. These are extremely comfortable too. I honestly have to say I prefer the Squoval over here with its rich Corinthian leather, right? So that is a total win. I was excited to see it. I did not know it was going to be that good. So this is, ooh, this is killer stuff right here. It's kind of making me think, hey, maybe we should just kill this video here. I mean, it's very weird. You know, I get the majority of you are like, man, this is a short video. I was hoping for longer. And then I guess the channel's kind of finally, you know, after 12 years, getting to the point where we bring in like some, like, I can't really use the choice words for them, but they just gripe. They want the reaction, the whole story, everything in a minute, and then get mad when I don't give them all the information they wanted. We're getting some of those people, which is funny when you can see the length of the video before you watch it, and one of the first things I usually say is we got timestamps down below. Yeah, you tell me. But that thing is glorious. That's pretty much the word we're going to use for it. Now, something else glorious is right here. This is one of the only tools that is retired. This was used actually quite a bit on the Challenger, the Mopar 10, and I have since retired it for the simple fact I cannot replace it. And I've even asked Nepros about it. It is the blue ion plated ratchet. The only other tool that's actually truly retired and not going to see action is one Koken sent me, and it's got a clear faceplate. It's nothing fancy. It's not like it's super exotic or like above and beyond special. I just think it's cool, and I don't want to like fog that up. So this thing here, though, it is their glorious 90 tooth mechanism, and it's blue ion plated. This is the thing they do. You can currently get artisan gold. I regret one thing, and that's not getting more of these and not getting the sockets. And if I would have gotten another one of those, I think we would have used it. But this was used for quite a while. And then it got to a point one time, I think I was just draining the catch can, and I thought, I kind of banged it, and I thought, oh, that wouldn't hit the engine cover. That could have like taken the finish off. And I'm like getting paranoid and sweating bullets, and it's like, I can't use it anymore. So this one is retired. Problem with that, I want to use my fancy stuff, right? I wanted to experience Nepros when I want to experience Nepros. And that is where this guy came in. This is an updated design. We covered this ad nauseum. This is essentially the exact same ratchet, obviously not blue ion plated, but improved. And you're like, how could you improve? Well, I don't mean aesthetically, although some of you will prefer traditional chrome, especially Nepros mirror polish chrome, over the blue ion plating. This is lighter. It's got a different mechanism. It took a long time for them to revise this. It's slightly more compact. We went over all those specs. If you missed that video, I encourage you to check it out. This gets used all the time. It's held up very well. We haven't had it a lot, but it is a heavy use, in part because I love the spinner so much. This spinner has been on this ratchet ever since I've had this ratchet. And you're thinking like, okay, well, where is this leading? Why have we jumped from the screwdriver to that? Well, we then, oh Lord, we're about to skip something really cool. Right over here, we have this. And you're thinking like, oh, what in the monstrosity is this? Well, this is the NeXT from Nepros. This was a birthday gift from my sister. We haven't even had this thing like a month at this point in time. Almost a month, but not quite a month. I've gotten to use it on 2 jobs, and it just recently did, what was it? The KTC back here did valve covers, and this did, what did this do? Battery hold down? Battery? I think it was a battery. So yeah, I have not gotten seat time. My fear was like, would you ever get your fingers kind of like crunched in there? Would it get dirty and nasty? I can't tell you. It's been used twice. Okay, the battery that I did with it, if I'm thinking correctly, was somebody who meticulously cleans their engine bay. It's a late model car, but it is showroom, better than showroom fresh, one of those types of a thing. So I can't show you like, oh look, my stuff on my glove just went down in there and I have to get it out with a Q-tip, and I haven't had it that long. I think if you stick with clean jobs, you won't really have to worry about that, but this is basically just next level ridiculous engineering, over the top, lightweight. It's wonderful. Actually, you know what? Yes, this was the battery, because that's a 7/16 socket. Over here, we're going to drop these in because, as we mentioned, Nepros is the performance division, over the top stuff from KTC. This is the most used because we've had it the longest. You can judge that by the anvil there. I had a really hard time getting this, the long pattern one. And what happened with this one, the head is so compact, I was able to do valve cover bolts with this. Literally, that is a big accomplishment. Usually I was having to run an extension. Why? Because if we came in with this, even though this is very milled down and very, even this one, compact profile, if we take the spinner off, you're going to run into the valve cover, right? Yes, there's a little half moon cutouts and everything, but you don't have clearance. You've got to come in with an extension. I literally, it did hit in the middle points, you know, but obviously I just swiveled down. And the outside, though, this fits straight up, 100% straight up. It was the craziest thing ever. This is a super compact roto head, but that is a KTC tool. There's no Nepros equivalent. But what I'm bringing this all in for is I've got a track record now with KTC Nepros. I can say, hey, you know, I've had this for a long time. It actually performs. I like it. Advantages, all those things. And so, when the opportunity arose with a 15% off sale, we came in and we did this. And you think like, oh, hey, is it just me or is that box bigger? Well, you can't really see under it anymore, but clearly you can see this is quite a bit larger than that. And you're thinking like, you know, he just showed us that, and he said he was waiting for this one. You know, it took him a long time to get it ordered in. I remember him mentioning that now. What has he done? Well, what we've done is we picked up Nepros part number NBR 390AF. The A, very important because it's the updated iteration, okay? I'm not going to have an older iteration to show and compare here, so we'll get through the video a little quicker, but it is upgraded to a similar fashion. The F is also important. It doesn't have to do with iteration 2. It has to do with something else. You'll figure that out here soon, very shortly, if you haven't already. But the price point as it stands, MSRP, is $162.10. Kind of spendy, but when you see it, I think you'll appreciate it. So once more, if we can get that to focus, can we? Yeah. NBR 390 AF. Let's pop this out again. One of the joys of the Nepros ecosystem is just this, the man candy, the presentation, right? No other ratchet, at least that I own, is as extreme and over the top in the presentation as these. A lot of my American stuff just comes in a bag. Some of the German stuff comes in a bag. Some you get a box. You know, nothing wrong with that. You know, we've got the seat time there too. But in terms of just sticking with the over the top, think of the rich Corinthian leather on our number 2 Phillips up there, and a mirror polish striking cap, that type of a thing. This is part of the process. So, are you ready for the big reveal? Have you figured out what F is? Some of you probably know because you've got it. Some of you probably know because you want it. Now you all know. Definitively. Also have to highlight there is foam there to prevent that from boxing around. So this is ooh, that's lighter than I was expecting. This is essentially this updated ratchet. I think you can kind of see the similar profile there, especially if I flip it over. And you're thinking like, hey, that's longer. Well, yes, it is longer, and there's a good reason for that. It's a flex head. And I have zero experience with Nepros flex heads. If I had purchased the counterpart to this and their standard finish out, we would pull it out, we'd compare it, we'd be like, wow, you know, it's this much lighter, and ooh, I can feel the balance change. Can't do that. I can only go by this one. So obviously everything here gonna be the same. Oh, that is stiff, that selector switch. My lord, what has happened? Uh-oh. I cannot... Oh, there it goes. I was thinking like, this is not good and not planned. That thing was not wanting to go. It does not like going that direction. Good lord. Not sure what's up with that. It's kind of breaking in now. I don't know if there's something underneath it. Yeah, it's okay now, but oh boy, it was really... I don't know if you can see my thumb here, just so you know, I'm not... and this is my good thumb, but see that right there? Yeah, that's from trying to... I had a Matco flashback. Gonna have nightmares here. But yeah, everything seems golden now. Let's rotate randomly, make sure... Okay, yeah, that was very scary. That was not something I expected from Nepros. Right here we've got our ring. I kind of thought they might have one up top. They don't. It's not a huge deal. Don't know why I thought that. I was just, I guess, thinking, you know, the longer length. Check this out though. This is a flex head. It's not a locking flex head. There's something special about this one. I'm also kind of unsure about it because I've never had one with this mechanism style. But if you look at that and you're like, there's something white in there? Yes, there totally is. There's nothing like some of my old school breaker bars. You know, have like a baldy tint that's down here, click, up, click, you know, back to center. This is nylon, I believe, and that's kind of just your friction agent. Think of a nylon. If this looks like the inside of a nylock to you, that's basically what it is. I cannot really tell if it's concave. I'm assuming it is. I want to say it's just a machined and pressed in piece of nylon. Maybe it threads in. If that were the case, ooh, I thought this would have a fastener. It does not. There is what looks like a hex screw. I don't know what that would be for. Huh. So here's what I'm trying to figure out right now. Let's try to get this mirror finish to work with us. Obviously we know what these are. Phillips screws for the case. That right there almost looks like a hex profile. I don't know if there's a mechanism that you can adjust tension here. What I was thinking, this would be like traditional and we'd have either, you know, hex or Torx or something here. We don't. The reason I was going to say that is, like, I guess we could take this apart and see, like, can we spin that out? You would think that would be a wear item, and you'd think Nepros would be like, okay, yeah, we're going to stock that in the event somebody actually wears that out or wants to restore it back to the friction it had when it was new. I am not privy to what is going on there. I wish I knew, but I don't. And again, all I could figure, but the thing is, like, see, there's nothing here. So I don't really know what that's for. I have no clue. I don't know if it's like a casing. It's not a casing. This is one-piece head. I don't know. I'm sure if we fumbled around with this long enough or just dissected it, we'd figure it out. But yeah, that's how it's set up. And I don't know if that's going to be good. I don't know if it's going to last great. I don't know if it's going to be better than having, you know, just like cogged gears like some of them have. No clue. We're going to have to use it and find out. If you've used one of these, this does not have to be the revised iteration if it has that same nylon type mechanism in there. If you've used it heavily, you know, like, is it gotten to the point where it's just like, ugh, you pick it up and the head flops everywhere and there's no adjustment? Or is it a deal where you're like, you know what, I've never had a flex head stay this uniform. As you can see, like, whatever weird funky position I want, we're able to kind of get in there, so, and it's staying very well. Case in point, like, let's try to get this back either flush or down. I'm putting some serious force into that. We finally did it. It's pretty resistant now. What it'll be like in the future, I can't speak on that, but the selector switch is much better now. It was literally like I could not get it to go. This sounds really good. I don't think we're going to have any issues or disappointment there. It is quick release. You probably can't tell because it's recessed and done and executed so well. But let's look at some pertinent specs on this thing. We're just close to timing out there, so I went ahead and paused. But description, they're going to say it's a ratchet that showcases Japanese quality and craftsmanship at its best. I can't argue with that. It's a 90-tooth ratchet mechanism, has an extremely smooth action with a dual 8-step pawl design for unrivaled strength. Perfectly balanced with an innovative hollow handle design that's finished in beautiful 5GQ mirror chrome. Again, they're going to say the flex head provides greater usability in tight spaces. The update for 2023, this is what that A is going to indicate. Smaller, ultra-compact head design. It's got a new updated 90-tooth gear mechanism. It's redesigned integrated switch lever. Again, I think you can kind of see this. This had that like textured area, if you recall. It's very, very subtle, but it is slightly different. Again, we covered that at length in the previous video. Here's the big thing, and again, we scaled it, we checked it with this versus the Blue Ion. Again, I don't have a flex head at all, so we can't do it. But if you have the previous one, 375 grams, they shaved 55 grams with the compact head, the gear set, and the hollow handle. Dropped it down to 320. Again, the hollow handle gives better balance. quick release, reliable switch lever, chrome plating. Basically, dimension-wise, here, across the head where the flats are, widest point, or widest, our most disadvantageous thing, 26 millimeters. Let's see here, D is sadly not in here, so I can't tell you what that is. T is going to be the thickness of the head, so again, think right here, okay. That is going to clock in at 14 millimeters, pretty dadgum thin. Not the thinnest thing on the planet, but very, very thin. And then the overall length on this one, 225 millimeters. So 162.10 again is the price. Definitely, if you've experienced Nepros and you've actually used it and you plan to use this, you could pull the trigger if you're in need of a flex head. I always advise waiting for a sale. DRPD does them, I wouldn't say all the time, but fairly frequently, especially if this is something you can live without for a few months. Whether it's 10, 15, 20, maybe sometimes you have to watch though, because in addition to their advertised sales where it's like, hey, 15% off President's Day, or 20% off Black Friday, that type of a thing, there are a lot of times that this is just, it'll have a slashed price, right? So instead of being 162, it might be 139. You just kind of have to keep up on it. Again, I always advise you get on mailing lists for companies. That's how you can stay privy to it. Social media is your friend as well. Typically that stuff's not advertised. Sometimes emails do go out like, hey, Nepros 10% off. Well, there you go. You don't have to wait as long, type of a deal. But that is a really, really nice ratchet. And again, I will not have any qualms using that. This, since I've had it, has been my most used 3H drive. This I envision, I don't know, I'm pretty accustomed to my Koken flex heads, but I want to get this in the mix. This guy here, it's... Ooh. Can't use that. And then this one, the most recent birthday ratchet, I love that thing. Super unique. I really do use it. It's been less than a month. It's going to be one of those things, I think, sticking to when I'm clean or what I'm doing is clean. That's going to see real world use as well. So like I said, they're candylicious. They're great to look at. They're great to use, but they will be used. Except for that, it's just too cool. I've looked at them on eBay. People have them there, but they're like jacked up scalper prices. I'm not paying that. It's just gonna be something cool. It's like I said, that was a really good first impression with Nepros, at least for me. And again, if you're into that sort of a thing, if you think like, oh, hey, I dig this, it's perfect. Some of you are gonna be like, whoa, that's way better. But I wish they did that in emerald green. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know what they're going to come out with, but I know they seem to cycle through it. It's currently, you can do artisan gold. Think of the Harbor Freight icon, but just infinitely better. Maybe they'll do a crimson red or an emerald green or something. Your favorite color might show up. It could be like tiger stripes. I don't have a clue what they're going to do. I just know from time to time they do some really cool stuff. You don't really have issue getting it when it's new. There's like a big window where it's readily available. It took a while for the blue ion stuff to kind of go out, but yeah, fantastic stuff. The catch is there was something else that I wanted to throw on, and we did. This is part number NBEC38. It's going to cost $21.80. You're like, $21.80? What is this? PB Swiss? Koken? You mentioned Koken. Nope, it's from Nepros, and it ties in with something on this table. Won't waste any more of your time. We're just going to throw this down. It is right here. I could have sworn I'd gotten one of these. I guess I didn't. But this is another spinner. And you're thinking like, oh, well, you know what? We don't really need to see that. Just end the video and appease some of the people that are saying mean things in the comment section. I can't, because this is different. At least I think it is. We're going to find out. So this is what the spinner looks like. Again, even the spinner, you can't really see much of that. This whole anvil is occluded when you have a socket on the thing. This side goes up against the ratchet, and it's all meticulously mirror polished. This is just what Nepros is and what they do. The thing is, folks, this is my super, super sweet spinner. But check this out. Notice anything? You're like, whoa, hey, this, you know, this is like a lifesaver, and this is one you just spit out of your mouth. It's half the size. Yeah, this is redesigned as well. This is super compact. Now, I don't know if it's going to be a pro or a con, because again, I've just grown stupidly accustomed to this awesome combination here, and it works really, really well. The only downside, that is a big profile. So if you're in a tight space, like I mentioned, the valve cover, you ain't going to do anything there without an extension, right? It's too big. You could possibly take this off and get in there, but with the spinner, it ain't happening. Now with this, let's come over. Let's just use the flex head, okay? Got our quick release, and we'll line this up as best we can. Oh, wow. That is a huge difference. How big of a difference? You're like, well, you didn't even put it on, moron. How would we know? It's on. Again, no trickery on my end. Check this out. I'm just putting the glove way back here, only just to kind of make it focus a little better. Look at that. Dang. So clearly this is super compact, much more compact than that thing. The catch is, I've grown really used to that, and I don't know how this is going to be until I use it. Now, I can come in and definitely get on it. I'm just going to have some seat time with it before I can kind of say one way or the other. But, ooh, that is a killer setup. Again, look at that. Like, this is insane, the difference in that thing. So let's grab this, take it off, and then take this one off. Again, this will give you an idea on a fixed head ratchet, and this should pair with this anyway, because it's the more compact one. Okay. That's really, really nice, I'm not gonna lie. If I drop back over here in the fantasy land of blue ion plating, and we throw this on, you're gonna notice something, I hope. Having a hard time getting my thumb working. I was hammering a lot of nails. See how that's barely visible? Like, you can definitely tell it's there. Well, actually you can't. In the right angle you can. But that's because this ratchet head is just larger than these redesigned ones, okay? So if we pop that out and I go to this, this should absolutely dwarf it, to the point I don't even know if we would want to use this as a spinner. You would have zero idea. I can even tilt up and you don't know. You can barely see the rubber ring there. Again, it's very subtle what they shaved off of this design to make these other two ratchets. But this guy, this I don't think would be a good pairing. If you see this spinner and you think, oh, I'm going to put that with my OG Nepros, I know. I would not advise that you do that. I would suggest you stick with this one. If you have an updated one with the A in the part number, I think this is viable. Again, I want to get some seat time before I commit to it and like endorse it, because again, I've been using this old guard with the new style and it's been fantastic. But this is really, really good. Again, you're basically, the only thing that's not in line here is the rubber ring. I could take that rubber ring off, and that's essentially just stepped down ever so subtly. Same thing on the side. This is a really, really nice piece, and I'm super glad now that I have purchased it. So we're going to pop that off. This is also one of the things I was interested in. Once again, look at that. As milled off and like over the top as that is, you can still, it still conceals that. That's how small this spinner is. So yeah, we need seat time with it. We definitely need seat time with it, but good grief, I am excited about the possibilities here. So we got one more item that doesn't really tie in well with the next video, plus I kind of need to use it at work tomorrow. It is from PB Swiss. It's right here. I might pause that because it took me a while to dig this out. Their part number, PB725.3. Promise we won't spend much time on this sucker. It is a 3mm nail punch. Cost $5.70. Here it is in the bag. I don't know if I'm going to like it. I don't know if I'm going to hate it. I just knew, dadgum, that the knurling was going to be legit. So I've got a PB Swiss center punch I took to work. And a big reason for that is it's like the old Starrett stuff. It's just knurled. There was no narrow band. There's nothing up top, nothing down low. It's just the whole thing. This, I'm hoping, will pay dividends for me. I've got a giant stack of lumber that I'm punching. It's basically like broke down pieces off pallets to flatten them out, make them level and stack. Cribbing, whatever you want to call it. If you note, at the tip of that, it goes in. Like if I had a ballpoint pen, which we do right behind me, if I pop the ink, check this out. Hopefully you can tell like that is seated down in there, right? Note the tip of the pen and the landing, okay? It's ever so subtle. It almost looks like it's just kind of rounded off, rounded out. And it's designed that way. That's why it's the nail punch. So I don't know what I'm going to think of it, but it's going to work with me, and we will give you an update. I will tell you, I have used that center punch with a Picard hammer with a nylon face. You cannot tell I've ever hit it. It's I kind of wondered how that would hold up over time. The nylon face really doesn't show a lot of wear either, but this thing looks mint. So if you love this finish and you want to maintain it, set yourself up with one of those nylon faces. But otherwise, just go to town. You know, it's just a nail punch. These are super affordable, you know, and it's something you don't really ever see from American brands. I guess I could probably track one down, but that was just easier, and it's $5, and I love knurling, so there we go. But, yeah, this was a good time. This was a good way to spend my Monday after work, I'll tell you that. So Mr. Flexhead here is going in the roll cart, and he's going to see some usage. Can't wait to kind of, like I said, the big thing here is what is going to happen with that nylon piece. Should perform just the same as this. We will try it with this. It kind of makes sense to me to have the bigger one stay where I like it on the fixed ratchet, and then have this updated design here. Next time I order from DRPD, we might grab one of these updated ones for that in the event that we want it there. Also, bonus, I just thought of this. Okay, I don't know what situation I would need to do this, but right here on the KT, oh wow. All right, so this is kind of a weird setup. I've never done anything like this, put a spinner on a roto. But with this thing, even with this, this was the compact head. I was bragging about it earlier. Compact head. Look at that. Like, this is legit. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what situation we would do this, but it certainly could happen. The reason I probably am not a bigger, like, geeked out about this right at this moment, these are usually used in conjunction with extensions and they have knurling on them, but this is definitely an option as well. So good times, I tell you. This I'm excited to put into use, just to kind of feel it out, see what we think of it, how it performs versus the Koken, how it performs versus our other flex heads. And then that guy right there is just also over the top. This is one of the most surprising things. Again, just grabbing it now and knowing what I should know about it. It's like, wow. Yeah, this is something. I don't know that KTC Nepros is going to be at like any trade shows or, you know, exhibit type of things. But I don't know, DRPD, or, you know, maybe there's like a distributor of them and they've got some stuff there for you to demo or check out. If you see this, or even, you know, one of their slotted ones in green, grab it. The stubbies are not a good example of this, I will tell you right now. Disappointingly so. You could save some money and you're like, I need a stubby anyway, and that's $20. I'll see if I like it. No. Do not base your impressions of that with this, unless that's old and not updated or something. I don't know of any changes to them. This is a whole different animal here. Kudos to Mike for actually listening to me and stocking these individually, because this thing is, it's sweet. It's really sweet. The $30 mark, you're getting in ridiculous territory for a screwdriver. I feel like both of these you could justify. It'd be really hard to, but you could justify them because they're just totally unique, above and beyond, over the top, and they're an experience, I'll tell you. So, yeah. Eventually, we'll test these things out, kind of get them going there. I can tell you right now, I myself will never, ever, ever use the striking cap. I don't know that I'll use the hex bolster on them. As a standard screwdriver, though, I don't have any qualms about that. Especially that guy. That is a totally unique handle. 100%. I cannot think of anything like we've got. You know, like think of the high-end Vits, right? And even this like Stavilla that's made by them with these fleeced pads and all the liner stuff and crazy drivers we brought in. Nothing is like that. You know, we have some Astro drivers, and I'm like, you know, I don't have anything like that. There's nothing like that. It's something, like I said, maybe, you know, you got like that tool collector in town or the Japanese super fanatic person, whatever it might be. If you know someone in your area that has that, get on their good side and see if they will let you hold it, because you need to experience it. If you can experience it without having to purchase it, that's a win. Otherwise, you know, if you have to shell out the $30, hopefully wait for a sale. Some of you might have to rush out and do it now, but if you can hold out, wait for a sale. They're pretty sweet. I'm just gonna leave it at that. So I have nothing comparable that we can compare it to. Totally unique. So this thing we do have comps to. We're not going to go into that right at this moment in time, but I will get some seat time with it ASAP. We'll see how she holds up. Again, many of you have probably purchased their Flexes, whether it's the super stubbies that seem to be the most popular, or maybe it's long handle, maybe it's quarter drive. Should be the same mechanism, I would think, in terms of like the nylon piece. Please leave a comment if you've experienced like rapid degradation or whoa, you know, like this is, it's not super stiff, but like it's maintaining what it had from the factory for longer than anything else of you. That type of information, please share it. That makes you a very vital member of the channel or the comment section, if nothing else. And the end goal, again, believe it or not, is just to help people out. So once again, timestamps and links will all be down below. Yeah, I just step back and take all that in because some really cool stuff. But yeah, LoneStarMopars.com is the website. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all three at Lone Star Mopars. If you enjoyed the video, I encourage you to leave a like. If you like multiple videos, if you think like, yeah, you know, I really like seeing this funky little thing over here that just maxed out the card and I had to delete stuff, but if you like multiple things here, I encourage you to subscribe. If you do that, ring the bell, jump your charger across the creek while wielding this or converting it to a shift knob or something. YouTube just might notify you that we have got new videos every Wednesday and Saturday, 9 a.m. Texas time. This is really sad because this should be the star of the show, the Nepros Flex Head, but this is just, I mean, this is like 1/5 of that price, right? This is the clear emphasis of the video. But this thing, it's like nothing else I've ever held before, especially in terms of a tool. Just super, super neat. Man, if you can get your hands on this, do it. You're going to be impressed. You might not like it. You might like something else better, but it's definitely going to be unique and something that you'll remember. Squoval faux leather on a screwdriver. The world is pretty great sometimes. We'll just leave it at that. Yeah. Again, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, learned something. Maybe were entertained, if nothing else. Got some ideas for a wish list, maybe for your birthday, right? You'll just forego this and say, give me that thing. You gotta see if the sky was right. So, as always, again, thanks for watching. I hope I catch you back here for more action from the shop.